Awesome. How's it going, guys? Happy Monday night. Mario here. Really excited to be able to share with you this week. I know it's a very difficult time for a lot of people to stay focused sometimes. I know maybe you're still having turkey. We actually had our second Thanksgiving dinner last night with the family. And so, if you had Thanksgiving dinner last night, then tonight is leftovers, right? So a lot of turkey. A lot of us need to get back on the treadmill. But we want to do what we can to stay focused and stay locked in and stay productive during this time of year. So I appreciate you guys logging in. With that being said, guys, we've just got a few things to cover with you. I do have some opportunity as far as like some training for you tonight for mindset, but let's get the show on the road, guys. So as always, guys, we talk about our vital factors, our core values. We're going to talk a little bit about mindset for success, and then I do have some updates for you, okay? So what are the vital factors? Again, we have a lot of new people that are joining into the agency. I always say this, listen, if you've ever seen this on TV or you've ever been to the hospital yourself and it's been kind of serious, they say, hey, check that person's vitals, right? What does that mean? What are the vitals factors for our business? There's 5 things that you've got to be focusing on at all times to be able to know that you're building a business that's going to be moving forward. Number 1 is lead generation. Every single week, are you purchasing leads and are you creating leads through referrals? Very, very important. Number 2, prospecting. Okay, yes, we can do follow-up. We can go back and make sure that they took care of different things that we needed to make sure they took care of, but there's a lot of busy work on the phone, and then there's prospecting. Every single day, you've got to set aside at least, in my opinion, an hour and a half to 2 hours where you're prospecting new people. Number 3, how many new appointments am I setting every single week? Because I don't always see all of those appointments, right? But I've got to set a certain amount, whether they're on the phone or in person, in order to collect a certain amount of applications. How many people am I putting into the system, right? Whether it's to get instant approvals, go through the process of underwriting, you have to be putting a certain amount of applications into the systems every single week. And then finally, what I believe is an X factor is referrals. Just to give you guys a story, you need to find somebody that you know that's in real estate and partner up with them. I reached out to our real estate agent literally about 2 weeks ago, and I said, hey, let's talk. I'm in the insurance space now, and let's feed leads back and forth. On the way home today, actually I have family in town, so we went out to Magnolia Farms. How many of you guys know Magnolia Farms is, right? Any of you guys watch Fixer Upper? Yeah, with what are their name? Chip and Joanna Gaines. So we drove out to Waco, Texas, 2-hour drive. On the 2-hour drive back this evening, I got a text message from that gal. She said, hey, Mario, what information do you want me to send? I've got a client that's closing on their home December 9th, and I was already talking to them about mortgage protection. They said, who do I recommend, right? Now, I'll give her a 10% referral fee, right? So if I make $1,800, right, $180, I'm just going to throw it at her, right? How cool is that? But that is free business. You always have to have your mind on referrals, because if you do 2 or 3 referrals every single month and then that duplicates through your organization, watch how much money you guys start to make where nobody else is paying attention to referrals. So these are my vital factors. And if your business is building in each one of these 5, then hey, your vitals checked out good and you're building a solid business. Right now, core values, obviously commitment to production, right? There's certain things that we're going to do every single week that we need to do, right? But conversion and production is king, right? Well, there's a lot of things that people do. They fall into a trap of staying busy. Hey, I'm going on to every single training. Yes, trainings are awesome, but trainings don't make you money. You know what makes you money? Production makes you money. So you always want to make sure that we understand we're going to reward and we're going to be a team that celebrates production. Personal growth, guys, right now, I'll share with you what I'm reading, which I actually love. This author, he's pretty new to me, at least. Some of you guys might have heard of him before. Now that I have it here, I can't find my ebook. There it is. This is the one that I'm currently reading right now. Where's it at? Not Relentless. It is How to Master the Art of Selling by Tom Hopkins. Okay, and I will send I don't know why it's not letting me pull it up, but it's How to Master the Art of Selling by Tom Hopkins. And this one is focused on financial services. Really, really good. And this one that I got was actually a recording from a live seminar. Okay, so there are so many new and different and creative ways for you guys to learn. Omar, I'm not a reader. Guess what? I'm not either. Okay. But I am somebody who does treadmill, who goes for walks, and I can throw something in my ears. And I really loved his style in the live seminar. So he went through this book in a live seminar and I listened to it. Absolutely awesome. So guys, bottom line is this. Two things. Number one, you're never going to get to where you want to be being the person that you are right now, because where you are right now is a direct reflection to who you are right now. So if you are perfectly content and happy with your business, don't do anything. Don't do anything different. But if you have bigger goals, if you're like, man, I want to do so much more, then you have to become a student of personal development and personal growth. Ownership is another thing that I absolutely love. Always ask yourself, no matter what I'm doing, no matter what the situation, how would an owner react and how would a victim react? Always do what an owner would do. Now, this is something that's a life lesson, right? In your marriage, right? We can always point the finger, right? But if I'm going to own it, hey, listen, I'm going to own it, right? I'll just speak on my own behalf as a father and as a husband. If I take it on the chin 9 times out of 10, I bet you there'll be peace in my home, right? But I could be a victim and say, well, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. So this is something that can actually be with us in all areas of our life. Leadership and mentorship is another thing, guys. We want to cultivate and create an environment where we're reaching out to people, helping one another because it's the right thing to do. My favorite quote by Zig Ziglar is real simple. If you help as many people get what they want, you'll always get what you want. And I firmly believe that in my life. So we want to cultivate and create an environment where we're always pulling people up and creating leaders, because the key to creating leaders in this business, guys, is how you're going to hopefully over time start to create leverage, right? We want to have 10 to 15 ninjas and that's it. 10 to 15 people in our agency that run fully functional, self-sufficient businesses. And then, and only then, can we enjoy leverage? Can we enjoy going out and just hanging out and watching checks come in? Because it can and will happen for the folks willing to put in the work. And then work-life balance. Listen, let me be the first one to tell you guys, 3 years of just blood, sweat, and tears. You know that balance they talk about, here's your life. Flip it upside down for 3 years and be okay with that. You gotta be okay with that. For 3 years, if you can put your head down and have zero balance, you'll come out on the other side and there will be a work-life balance. I promise you that. If you build a strong foundation. But if you try to cut corners, if you're not bringing other people up, if you're not pouring into other people, you won't have the success that you want and you'll never achieve work-life balance. Have any of you ever met somebody who appears to be at the peak of their industry, but they're still on that hamster wheel constantly? I know people in other industries, they have titles like senior vice president or senior X, Y, and Z, whatever it is, but they are constantly working for 20, 30 years. Why? Because they never spent the time to build a solid foundation that was built on a rock and then build leaders so that they can experience leverage. And that's the key. That's the only reason I want to build an agency, because I can do $500,000 a year just on the phone. But the idea is I build alongside of that. While I'm doing that for the next 3 years, I start to build into and pour into a couple of folks who do the same thing. And now I can experience some leverage. Now, we're going to talk about mindset, because to me, 80% of success in business, period, is mindset. Okay. But I want to talk to you guys about the price of winning tonight. Guys, winning and success has a cost associated with it. Bottom line, you cannot cheat when the costs associated with winning. What's that old phrase that people say all the time? The dream is free, right? But the grind and the hustle is not, right? You guys can all dream. That's awesome, right? You guys can all have big dreams, and that's great. and you need a dream to help you get out of bed. But the hustle and the grind and the work associated with that is it's going to cost you. So I'm going to share with you something. Like I've already talked about, winning has no balance. Okay, so this is a personal story, and I the only way I can help get this across is see what it says here. It says, "If I eat less, will you stay home more?" Okay, so about 10 years ago, I was really at the very bottom beginning. Let's not say bottom, but I was the very beginning of an upturn in my business as a self-employed individual. And at that point, it was all blood, sweat, and tears. Man, I was like, I grabbed the poker chips. I went all in. I burned the bridges. For those of you guys who know my story, I sold my home and I moved back in with my parents, my wife, and at the time, 3 kids, okay, into the room that I lived in when I was in high school because I wanted to pursue my dream of being self-employed. I also quit almost a multiple 6-figure a year position. I had money saved. I had money from the purchase of my home, moved my family back into my home where I grew up, and I was just all in. And I remember I was packing my bags one time, and my daughter, who's about to be 16 now, she was like, "Dad, where are you going?" And I said, "Well, I've got to go on another business trip. I'm flying out tomorrow and I come back on whatever." And she was like, "Why do you always have to go, Dad? Why do you always have to leave so much?" And I said, "Well, I have to leave so that I can make money. So at the time, so we could buy our home, so we could have our own home again. So you're not having to share with your sisters, right? So we don't have to live with grandma." And I was sharing all these things with her, right? We like to eat and we have to do this and this and that. And she looked at me, and I'll never forget this. She said, "If I eat less, will you stay home more?" Okay. And that haunted me. That literally haunted me because I still left. I packed my bags and I did what I had to do, but that haunted me for a good 48 hours. But I still pushed through because I had to, right? But here's what I'll tell you. 10 years later, now she's a sophomore, okay? She's on varsity as a swimmer. She's about to go and make a run for varsity in softball. She has a 90 plus percentile in every single class. This little girl gets up at 5:30 every morning. I know because I have to take her to the pool at 5:45, and she's a grinder. And I remember telling her like, "Hey, I just want to tell you, I apologize if I wasn't always here." And she said, "Dad, you showed me what I needed to do. You showed me firsthand." She said, "I can go on YouTube and watch all these like Gary Vaynerchuk type style talkers. I didn't need to though, because I watched you do it every single day. Yeah, there were times that I missed you, but I get it now. And now I'm grinding. Now I can't wait to achieve my goals." So my question for you guys is, how many of us hit that wall when this conversation happens with your child and that guilt kicks in? Because I promise you it will. And the second question is, can someone else convince you to push through and keep going? Like, let's say, Cragen calls me up and he's like, "Mario, listen, man, I've been grinding so hard, bro. And last week I had a couple of appointments on a Saturday, and my family was going to go to a tournament, and my daughter was crying because I couldn't make it, but I had 6 appointments that day. What should, and I feel like crap. I don't know if this is for me." I'm going to be here to tell you guys, I can't say anything to you to convince you on what you need to do at that time, because guess what? The decision is up to your own judgment. It is the reason why some will make it to the top in this industry and some will be average. Here's another book if you haven't read this before, right? It's called Good to Great. How many of you have heard of the book Good to Great? Anybody? Show of hands. Okay. Phenomenal book. Good to Great, the essence of the book says this, that the biggest enemy of being great is being good. I'm going to say that again. The biggest enemy of being great is being good. Here's why. Because to be great, you are going to have to pull out of that driveway with a little one crying. You are going to have a spouse or a significant other be pissed off with you a time or two because you have to do something that you have to do, even though it's not something that's, you know, a favorite thing. I remember when I first became self-employed, I come from a very, very tight-knit family. My wife, right? My wife and my mom are very much similar, right? A tight Hispanic family. Okay, we eat together, we do everything together. And I remember my mom actually struggled because she was like, wait, you're going to another meeting? Wait, you have another appointment? Don't they know we have a quinceañera this weekend? Don't they understand that there's a barbecue, right? I know, Mom, but you know, because she was not programmed to understand anything outside of 9 to 5. Well, it's Saturday. Isn't that your time with your family, right? See, so the idea is that some people are unwilling to miss things in order to build something significant. I always say this, okay? There are good reasons why you won't make $25,000, issue pay $25,000 or more in a month. I'm going to say that again. There are good reasons why you will never issue pay more than $25,000 a month or more in a month. You know why? Because they're called soccer. Because they're called barbecues. Because they're called my cousin's son's first birthday. Those are not bad reasons. They're good reasons why you will never hit your goals. Because you have to win the battle with you. And so the decision and the judgment is yours. But here's what I want you to understand. We're all going to make sacrifices, but they have to be worth it. Those sacrifices that you make have to be worth it. So here's where you are. Here's what I always ask yourself. Are you missing your family because you're at the bar? Are you missing your family because you're at the smoke shop? I love to smoke. That's why I'm throwing it at myself, right? Throwing the dagger at me first. Why am I missing out with time with my family? Or are you away for noble reasons? I know, buddy, I'm sorry that dad has to go again. But I promise you, you'll understand. You'll be able to have that conversation that I had with my daughter 10 years later when she said, Dad, I don't have to go to YouTube to look for these principles because I've watched you. Guys, do you know how freaking excited I was when I heard that? I was like, whoa, because I had that guilt. It did weigh heavy on me. Okay, so I'm not coming from a place that is like, hey, you know, you better do this if I'm not willing to do this. So the last thing is, guys, no matter what you decide to do, make it count. Because the price of winning, guys, is steep. Okay, it is going to cost you something, right? There is no balance for a good while. But I promise you, the small amount of people who are actually able to put on that armor, get thick, tough skin, and push through, when you come out on that other side, it'll be very, very much worth it, okay? So hope this helped with you guys tonight. So now we're gonna talk a little bit about some other things. I'm gonna continue to go over the new onboarding checklist for you guys, just because I think it's very important that you guys understand the flow as we're bringing new people on. So let me pause the screen share real quick so that I could pull up the new one, the other document, excuse me. Boom. Okay, here's the document. Boom. Can you guys see this okay? Give me a thumbs up. All right, so a couple of key things just at the top here. So important contact information, our agency owner, our upline, Wences Navarro. There's his phone number there. Any agency manager, myself, information there. Number one, make sure you text Advantage 1 to 833-819-1254 for company updates. Every time there's a training, you'll automatically get those. Make sure you download Signal, Slack. Ask your hiring manager or agent to add you to those particular chats. That's how you stay updated at all times, guys. Listen, if you're not staying updated, if you're not checking Signal, guys, that's an indicator, okay? I am developing you as agents, but also as managers. Here's one thing that I'll tell you. I pay attention to who answers in Signal. I pay attention to who says, awesome, see you there, or great job. Hey, welcome to the team. Those people I know are dialed in. I know that those people don't have 60 unread messages on Signal. Okay, they're just like little indicators that you pick up. And why is that important? Because as a manager, you're going to only have a certain amount of time in a day. And you're going to have to learn how to say no, and you're going to have to learn who is going to require your time, but also who deserves your time. Okay, so when somebody gets started, okay, we go through the new agent onboarding startup checklist. So number one, are you licensed agent to sell interest in your home state? Okay, if yes, if they're already licensed, they proceed to number three. If no, it says proceed to number two. Okay, so register to take your exam, your insurance exam. And what we do, okay, it's not mandatory, but what we do is we have people do their life and their health combo. Okay, now the title of the exam, the verbiage might be different per state. So when they go to, I tell them just Google life insurance exam in the state of California, Google life insurance exam in the state of Texas. When you go there, okay, you're gonna have to go find out where it's at, whatever the verbiage of what they name that combo exam might be different. Okay, so just have them figure it out. And what I tell folks to do is to take your exam within 10 to 14 business days. Listen, guys, you have to be able to tell somebody like, hey, look, I'm going to be a straight shooter, Joanna. If you say you're going to register in 2 months, or you're going to take it in February, see you later, I'll never hear from you again. Let's just be honest, right? Let's not waste one another's time. But if you have an exam down on 10 to 14 days, you're going to pay attention and you're going to do what it takes to pass that exam. Can I be honest? Yes. So 10 to 14 days. Now, once you register, let me know the day and time, and I am going to send you a promotional code for Excel Solutions. It's a third-party testing site that we have, okay, or that we work with, and you're going to register for your study course. Now, the study course is about $300. With this promo code, it takes to $49. Contact your hiring agent for study tips. So what I do is once they're registered, I tell them tomorrow, let's jump on a Zoom and I'm going to give you a study hack that I use. The last thing you want is a new person to read every single page and study that way. I tell them, listen, you're going to learn everything that you need to learn, okay, by doing the business. So when you're studying, study to pass the exam, not study to learn how to do insurance. And so I teach them a couple little hacks on how to do that. Now, once you have passed your exam, you apply for your license with NIPR and complete your live scan within 24 to 48 hours of passing that exam. Now, I usually try to have them do it same day. Why? Because NIPR, depending on what state, can be anywhere from 3 to 14 days before they actually get that NPN number. And they can't do anything else until that happens. But once they've completed D, your hiring agent or your hiring manager will complete the new producer form. Now that's a Google Doc form through Advantage One Brokers, where basically we're telling Advantage One Brokers, hey, I hired this person and here's what their compensation rate is, okay? So this is something not for your new person, but they will tell you, hey, did you do my new producer form? Okay, and you go and do that. Now, next thing I have them do is register, because when they're waiting for the NIPR information to come to them, can't really do anything else, register at Advantage One Brokers back office. Okay, that takes 24 hours to gain access. So you go to www.advantageonebrokers.com, select login or agent login, then select register. So you're basically registering with an email address, you're creating a little profile, and it takes 24 hours for you to gain access. Okay, now, by the way, once they gain access, they can go into the dashboard and there's a ton of training videos there. Have at it, go for it, okay? Now, once they get their NIPR number, whether that's 3 days to 10 or 14 days, now they can do number 5. Okay, number 5 is where you have to be involved as the hiring agent or work with your hiring manager, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna send them a custom link to Assurance Bay to set up a Assurance Bay account. Now, if you don't have that custom link yet, it's Wences's custom link as of now. Chepa, you might want to talk to Wences about that or see if they can create one for you. I know you know what that is. So they set that up, and if they've ever had a Assurance Bay account before, like maybe with a different IMO, make sure that they are using a different email address. Because if they use the same address as they had before, SuranceBay will find their old account and merge them together, and now they're screwed, right? So you got to make sure that it's a separate email address, okay? Now, you will need your NIPR number to do this. At this point, first day, or at least within their first 24 to 48 hours, you want them to request contracting with the carriers, okay? Now, I am going to tell you ahead of time, I'm going to give you guys an update about number 5 in just a few minutes, but we're going to make some changes here, so I'm not going to spend time with that right now, but I will update this document and add it to the Google Drive, okay? So you want them to have that in because, again, every single carrier takes a little longer than others, but again, you can't do anything until you're contracted with the carriers, okay? Now, once a few carriers start getting approved, Advantage One brokers at corporate will set up your Opt account. Opt is where you go and buy leads and where you can actually start to manage your leads, put in applications. This is your CRM where you buy and manage your leads, okay? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna discuss your first lead purchase. Anywhere from $500 to $1,000 is recommended. We're gonna talk about that a little later. Guys, if you get good at walking new people through these 6 steps, and then that duplicates, you will have massive success. It's real simple. 6 steps, get good at it, and then teach it, okay? No cutting corners, do everything the right way so you start to build a strong foundation, okay? Now, I always have questions, so we'll do those towards the end this time, all right? So let's go back to the PowerPoint. Let me find it. Bam, okay. All right, so a couple updates and then we're done, guys. All right, so first things first, make sure that you guys all have a credit card on file if you want to buy leads in Opt. In essence, right now, while we're still using the lead order form, if you are sending in a lead order form, that means you have contracts. And if you have contracts, you probably already have an Opt system. Sorry. Okay, I thought I went on mute. You probably already have an Opt system. What they're going to do is this. People that put in lead orders, they're going to go in the system, and even though you put your credit card on file for that lead order that you put in, they're going to check if your credit card is on file in Opt, and if you don't, they won't process that order, okay? Because what we're finding is people who get on standing orders are saying, yeah, I want to take 3 to 5 to 10 standing orders every single week, but they don't put a credit card on file. We're paying money, the company's paying money to get those leads generated. And then when they show up, people aren't claiming them. And corporate has no teeth because we can't even charge them. So the company's taking a hit. Why is that important for us? Because there's probably nobody in this agency that's going to do that. But here's why it's important to us. If the company keeps taking hits, the lead prices will go up for us. And I definitely don't want that. Okay, so next one, submit business in Opt. Okay, so as we promote through the ranks, okay, I believe it should have come out today. If not, you'll probably see it tonight or tomorrow. The final comp grid is going to be coming out to the company. It's going to be in 2 forms. There's going to be one where it talks about what type of production you need to do to climb the ranks as far as your comp percentage is concerned. But then there's going to be another document that's separate, that's internal, that you can only access from Advantage One brokers, that is going to show you what your comp grade is. So, hey, if I make 100% comp with ADV, what does that mean if I write business with AIG? What does that mean if I write business with Foresters? What does that mean? What does 100% get paid with F&G, right? So that's what our comp grid is. That's going to be coming out. Now, the reason I brought that up is because the only way that you're going to get approved for promotions through that I'm having a brain fart here. The only way you're going to get your promotions is by business that is submitted in Opt. So let's say I did 80,000 on my PIN in the month of November, but I only submitted 30 through Opt, okay? But yeah, there's going to be no calling Chris or Spencer and saying, dude, I did 80,000 on my pin. Well, we're only reflecting 30,000. Yeah, but I did 80. Can I still get my bump up in comp? No. Whoa, right? So there was a video that I sent out today. That's a podcast that was done with Wesley and with Greg Birch. Very good. That explains step by step how to start to submit business in Opt. Okay. There's also a really cool promotion that started today. Okay, where the person who submits the most applications, it doesn't matter the volume. So let's say you're doing very small policies and you submit 50 of them, but the 58 policies only get you 15,000 in issue paid. But you submit 3, but there some IULs and the AP is like 600,000. You will lose. What they're trying to do is they're trying to help influence behavior. So the person that that submits the most applications in the month of December, okay, through Opt, will win a MacBook Pro, okay, brand new. And then there's like 10 different things, some cash prizes. So very important. That's a promotion that started today. Also, what's cool about this is as you guys start submitting business, we're going to be able to start seeing conversions. Because I know some of you guys beat your head against the wall like, Mario, I'm doing everything right, but I'm not seeing the business come out on the other end. And then you're like, can you help me? It's really difficult for me to help you if I can't look at your numbers and your conversions, because your numbers and your conversions tell me 2 things. Number 1, they show me what your efforts are like. And number 2, they show me where your skill set bottlenecks are. There are 2 types of skill set bottlenecks. Number 1 is getting people to agree to wanting to schedule an appointment with you. The second type of skill set bottleneck is in that appointment, getting somebody to do an application for a policy. And those are skill sets that I can see that need to be fixed if you are adding in your business properly in the Opt system. So I'm not expecting anybody to be a pro at this, but make sure you understand every single time you submit a policy that you put it into the Opt system, okay? Next thing is, again, I just put the YouTube video up. I also today just put up a product, new and updated product cheat sheet, uploaded onto the Google Drive. Now, here's what I would tell you. There's two tabs on the bottom. One tab is for final expense. So it's going to have all of our carriers, and you're going to be able to have a cheat sheet there. If you don't know what that is, make sure you go pull it up and look at it. If you have any questions, let me know. We can even do a one-on-one to show you how to utilize this in a call, okay? The second tab on the bottom is mortgage protection. So you click that, it'll show you all the mortgage protection carriers and the products, and then different things like knockouts, medications, different stuff. So you just have like a one-stop shop for everything. It's new, it's updated, it just came out like a day or so ago, okay? So that's on the Google Drive. Make sure you save it to your desktop as well. Stay plugged in, guys. AOB USA Web YouTube, we'll put that in the group. Make sure you're subscribed there. Or make sure you followed our Instagram as well, start tagging. We do have our Signal group. Again, I like Signal because it's the safest, to be brutally honest with you. I like the functionality behind it as well. Slack is cool, but as your agency starts getting bigger, I'm not sure if you know this, but Slack charges per person. So why start to build a foundation where if your team is big enough, you could be paying $10,000, $15,000 a month just to have everybody on your Slack channel, or you can go to Slack or Signal, which is way better and it's free, right? So AOB OSC Google Drive, make sure that you guys are subscribe to that. If you're not, message me or Chepe, we can get you guys added. Make sure you have text Advantage 1 to 833-819-1254 to stay updated on all things AOB. Now, we're going to be splitting up contracting, that section on the onboarding request, into 2 phases. Okay, here's the reason why. Some of them just take longer, and some of these contracts, based on the business we write, based on the type of leads that we generate the most, aren't necessary until what we consider phase 2. So we're going to make this adjustment on the onboarding doc, and then I'll let you know when it's updated so you can go and throw out the other one and update the new one. But First thing you're going to do is you're going to request SBLI, F&G, Foresters, Royal Neighbors, United, and AIG. AIG, obviously, that's your guaranteed issue. Those will come in fast, and those are the ones that we write the most of, okay? Now, as those start coming in, then go and get North American, Assurity, Liberty. Like, for instance, Assurity and Liberty bankers, they don't even completely finish approving you until you get business for them, okay? So it's like taking so long to get all these things done. And not only that, inside of Advantage One brokers, they're gonna focus on getting people done with the ones that are on list number 1 at a higher priority than the ones that are on list number 2. Now, Lafayette Life and Mutual Trust Life are two that maybe not all of you are really aware of, but in order to sell the debt-free life program that's coming, okay, you want to make sure that you have those done. Again, those are second tier. So SBLI, F&G, Foresters, Royal Neighbors, United, and AIG first, submit them out, okay? Once they start coming back, then go get North American, Assurity, Liberty Bankers, Lafayette, and Mutual Trust Life, okay? I think that will help, because just by getting number 1, you guys can go out and make $10,000, $15,000 a month. Without having anything on line number 2, you can start out of the gates fast, okay? Now, suggested lead strategy, this is what I'm advising people to do, is put in a standing lead order for 5 leads a week for final expense A leads. Why are these good? They're mailers, guys, okay? So let me see if I can find one. You get one of these, okay? They're mailers. Now, what they are is you're first in the door, okay? And they're exclusive. When I call these leads, they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, hey, Jenny, you received something in the mail. You tossed it in the mail last week, requesting some information on final expense. Oh yeah. Like, they're not like, oh my God, damn it, there's been 15 people calling me every day. What? Leave me alone, right? So these are good quality leads, and they're final expense. Why do I like final expense? Because especially for somebody who's starting to create momentum and somebody who's new, they're very easy. As far as what I mean is they're not complex, is what I mean, okay? This type of person, the biggest problem you're gonna have with them is if they have any health concerns. There's no objectives or that they're gonna come with you at, right? They're very easy. They're like, yeah, I want this, right? That's half the battle. Now you just have to find the right one, and now you got a cheat sheet that you can use. Second thing I tell my folks is go get some mortgage protection B+ leads. Not the B plus leads. They're $8 a pop. They're 3 to 6 months old, okay? Now, the reason I like these is because you can go get 25 of them for $200. And guys, in my own experience, every time I buy 25, I close at least 3 to 5 of them, okay? That's pretty darn good. Now, the reason why I like these B+ leads as opposed to the mortgage protection A leads for somebody who's just starting out or somebody who's looking to get the momentum going is because an A lead, while it's exclusive, right? While it's your first in the door, if you've never done mortgage protection, you got to understand mortgage protection, you're in there and you have to pivot. Sometimes you have to go towards this product or that product, or maybe it's a term. There's a lot of like pivoting that you have to do. And I'd rather you spend $8 per lead while you're learning that than $60 per lead while you're learning that. Does that make sense? Right? This is just what I'm saying. You're going to be able to get some really good business out of this while you're cutting your teeth, while you're learning. The third place that I highly recommend everybody to do as fast as possible is live transfer leads, guys. Okay. Now, why did you just say, Mario, it's not good to spend $60 a lead on a mortgage protection A lead while you're learning, but it's okay to spend $60 per lead on a live transfer lead? Well, here's why. Because a live transfer lead is vetted 3 times, right? So they opt in to the information. So it's not like just click, click, click. They actually have to put in a bunch of information. So that's one. Then The domestic agent, not somebody from like Bangladesh or India, love those folks, nothing against them, but right, it's somebody here in the US is going to call that person and basically vet them again, ask them some questions, and now they're second level deep. Then when they transfer the call to you, they're going to say, hey, Ron, I've got Chepa here. He's 60 years old. He's looking for, term policy, maybe 20 years or 10. He wants to spend about $180, okay? And he does have a bank account, okay? Awesome. Now you transfer them through and you ask them a couple more questions. So now you've vetted this 3 times, right? This person is a high quality lead and it's final expense. So it converts really, really, really well. Okay. They're telling us, and I'm saying they're telling us because I'm starting these on Wednesday. Okay. They're telling us that they're experiencing a 70+% conversion on these leads. And from what I've heard, I believe it. From what I've heard, I believe it. And here's the best freaking part. They come to you. These leads are coming to you and they're teaching you how to take them from phone call on that same phone call directly on a phone appointment, right? I love it, right? We have a Slack group. There was a guy who sent in today, his first day. He's like, my first day on the phones. He put in 2 FEX policies. One was like $948. The other one was the AP was like $1,600. He was on the phone for 3 hours. And he was just waiting for calls to come in. Guys, I don't know about you, but that's freaking gold. So those are the 3 that I suggest you guys get involved with when you get started. Now, once you start creating some income, once you start getting your mojo, right? Now, go into some of these other ones. Like for instance, those IUL leads, you got to go through some training. You've got to get approval from your manager, but they are money, okay? I closed 3 out of the 10 that I have, and I'm still working a couple more. And out of those 3, I took over 40,000 in commissions. Okay, 3 out of 10, 40,000 in commissions off of. I bought 10 of them at $185, basically $2 grand. So I spent $2 grand to make 40. But again, is that something that's for everybody? No. But as you get down the road, you're gonna have options. Okay, so very, very cool. Final thing is that guys, remember, I'm always open to do one-on-ones. Once you're in that place, all I ask is that you've been on the phone for at least 1 week calling these leads, and then we can get together on a Zoom or a Google or even a FaceTime and do some coaching and some training, okay? So with that being said, I am done. Thank you guys and God bless. Before I open it up to Q&A, I'm gonna stop the recording and then we'll do that. Hold on one sec. Well, okay.